Everyone knows the Vikings were master sailors, but 40,000 years before them, people in the Philippines were already crossing open oceans. No metal, no compass, no maps. This wasn't Europe's story. This was the first maritime empire history forgot. The Callao Cave discovery. Our story begins in 2007 in the limestone caves of Callao, located in the Cagayan Valley of northern Luzon, Philippines. Here, archaeologists made a discovery that would shake the foundations of our understanding of human migration and maritime capability. They found bones, not just any bones, but the remains of a previously unknown human species that lived between 50,000 and 67,000 years ago. In 2019, these remains were officially identified as Homo luzonensis, a distinct species of ancient human that lived on the Philippine island of Luzon. But here's where it gets truly remarkable. Luzon has always been an island. Even during the Ice Ages, when sea levels dropped dramatically and exposed land bridges connecting many regions, the Philippines remained separated from mainland Asia by at least 60 miles of open ocean. The only way Homo luzonensis could have reached the Philippines was by deliberately crossing the sea. Think about what this means. We're talking about seafaring technology existing more than 50,000 years ago. Not just rafts drifting with currents, but purposeful navigation across open water. This pushes back the timeline of human maritime technology by tens of thousands of years beyond what was previously accepted. Hey, history lovers, quick favor before we start. If you enjoy today's video, please help me reach 500 likes, and don't forget to subscribe for more amazing historical stories. The Taban Caves, 47,000 years of continuous habitation. Moving to Palawan, another Philippine island, we encounter the Taban Caves, one of the most significant archaeological sites in Southeast Asia. Here, the famous Taban Man was discovered. Remains dating back approximately 47,000 years, with some evidence of human activity in the area extending back even further. What makes the Taban Caves extraordinary isn't just the age of the findings, but what they reveal about the sophistication of these ancient people. The caves contain evidence of advanced stone tool technology, including flake tools and worked stones, ornamental jewelry made from shells and stones, evidence of organized burial practices, suggesting complex spiritual or religious beliefs, signs of sustained habitation over thousands of years. But perhaps most significant are the maritime artifacts. Shell middens, essentially ancient trash heaps of discarded shells, show that these people were not just coastal dwellers picking up whatever washed ashore. They were active fishermen and divers, harvesting specific species of shellfish and fish that required knowledge of marine ecosystems, tides, and seasonal patterns. The presence of deep-water fish remains indicates they were venturing far from shore, using boats sophisticated enough to handle open ocean conditions. They weren't simply surviving, they were thriving through mastery of the sea. The Butuan boats, engineering marvels of the pre-colonial era, fast forward to a more recent period, around 320 CE to 1250 CE, and we encounter the Balangay boats of Butuan. While this seems recent compared to our earlier examples, these vessels represent the culmination of tens of thousands of years of maritime knowledge and shipbuilding tradition. The Balangay, also known as the Butuan boat, is a plank-built watercraft that was the primary vessel used by Filipinos for trade, migration, and warfare before Spanish colonization. 9 of these boats have been discovered in Butuan City, making it one of the most significant archaeological maritime sites in Asia. What makes these boats engineering marvels? First, their construction technique. Unlike many ancient boats that were made from hollowed-out logs, the Balangay was built using a sophisticated edge-jointed plank technique. Planks were carved from single pieces of wood and then fastened together using wooden dowels and fiber lashings. No metal nails were used, yet these boats could withstand ocean voyages of thousands of miles. Second, their design demonstrated deep understanding of hydrodynamics. The boats featured symmetric double-ended hulls, perfect for both forward and backward movement. They incorporated outriggers for stability in rough seas, and their shallow draft allowed them to navigate both open ocean and shallow coastal waters. Third, their size and capacity. The largest Balangay boats were over 15 meters long and could carry substantial cargo and dozens of people. They were equipped with sails made from woven palm leaves, allowing them to harness wind power for long-distance travel, while the paddle design allowed for maneuvering in calm waters or adverse conditions. These weren't primitive canoes. These were sophisticated, ocean-going vessels that required advanced knowledge of materials, science, engineering, and maritime navigation. Knowledge that could only have been accumulated over thousands of years of seafaring tradition. The Maritime Trade Network, an ancient global economy. By the time we reached the 9th to 16th centuries, the Philippines had become a central hub in a vast maritime trade network that connected China, India, the Middle East, and Southeast Asia. This wasn't a fringe player in regional trade. The Philippines was a critical nexus point in what was essentially an ancient global economy. Archaeological evidence from sites across the archipelago reveals the extent of this network. Chinese ceramics from the Tang and Song dynasties have been found in burial sites throughout the Philippines. Gold artifacts showing Indian and Middle Eastern influences demonstrate cultural exchange spanning half the globe. Cowrie shells from the Philippines have been found in archaeological sites in mainland Southeast Asia and even as far as East Africa. The Manila-Acapulco galleon trade, which began in 1565, is often celebrated as the first permanent trans-Pacific trade route. But this wasn't a new development. It was simply the Spanish, capitalizing on and formalizing trade routes and maritime knowledge that Filipinos had developed over millennia. Consider the economic sophistication this required. Ancient Philippine societies had standardized measures for trade goods, established trade protocols, and diplomatic relationships. Knowledge of monsoon, wind patterns for seasonal navigation, understanding of international markets and commodity values, infrastructure to support foreign merchants and trading posts. The Laguna copper plate inscription, dating to 900 CE, provides written evidence of this economic complexity. It details a debt payment and mentions several place names, titles, and a Saka calendar date, demonstrating literacy, legal systems, and integration into broader Southeast Asian cultural frameworks. Maritime technology and navigation. How did ancient Filipinos navigate across thousands of miles of open ocean without modern instruments? The answer lies in an accumulated body of knowledge so sophisticated that it rivals modern navigation systems in certain respects. Ancient Filipino navigators used a complex system of wayfinding that included star navigation, Specific stars and constellations served as directional markers. Navigators memorized the rising and setting points of numerous stars throughout the year, creating a celestial map that guided them across featureless ocean. Wave and swell. Reading. Expert navigators could detect patterns in ocean swells, the long rolling waves that travel across the ocean. Different islands create different refraction patterns in these swells, allowing navigators to detect land far beyond visual range. They could literally feel their way across the ocean. Bird observation. Certain seabirds fly out from land to feed and return at specific times. By observing bird flight patterns, species, and behavior, navigators could determine proximity to land and even what type of ecosystem lay ahead. Cloud reading. Islands create specific cloud formations due to thermal effects and moisture. Navigators learn to read these clouds from great distances, detecting land long before it appeared on the horizon. Biological markers. Changes in water color, temperature, and marine life indicated proximity to reefs, shallows, and islands. Phosphorescence patterns, floating debris, and specific fish species all provided navigational information. This knowledge wasn't written down. It was transmitted orally from master navigator to apprentice over years of training. It represented a collective knowledge base accumulated over countless generations, refined through trial and error across thousands of voyages. The sophistication of this system becomes clear when we consider that European explorers, equipped with compasses, astrolabes, and written charts, still frequently got lost and shipwrecked. Meanwhile, Filipino navigators were completing multi-thousand-mile journeys with remarkable consistency. Social and political structures. The barangay system. The maritime culture of the Philippines wasn't just about boats and trade. It shaped the entire social and political structure of Philippine society. The basic unit of political organization was the barangay, a term derived from balangay, the boats themselves. This is significant. The fundamental unit of governance was named after seafaring vessels, highlighting how central maritime culture was to Filipino identity. Each barangay was essentially an autonomous community, originally based on the idea of a boat's crew, people who literally sailed together, now living together on land. The barangay system included the datu, a leader who was often the most skilled navigator, warrior, or wealthiest trader. Leadership was earned through demonstrated ability, not just heredity, though influential families did emerge.